Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Right on. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, John Harcar, and I'm here today with Alden Guajardo. And what we're going to be talking about today is some alternative investment strategies, why you need them, why they're important. Remember, guys, at Investor Fuel, we help investors, we help real estate entrepreneurs, real estate service providers 2 to 5x their business. And by giving them the tools and the resources to build the businesses they want to build, it allows them to build the lives that they want to build. Alden, welcome to our show.
Hey, thanks for having me. Been a fan for a while. Love the, value that you provide out in the market. Just happy to be here today, and thanks for the opportunity.
Sweet. Yeah, and I'm super excited to talk about alternative investment strategies. I mean, I really think that people nowadays need to find other things to put their money in to make it grow. But before we get into all that, right, there's a lot of stuff we're going to be jumping in the weeds on. Tell our audience a little bit about who you are, how you got into real estate, just how you got here.
Absolutely. Well, I'm Alden Guajardo again. I'm with Win Mobile Homes, Silvercrest Opportunity Fund, and Mobile Mailbox Money. We're here today in the local market of Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm actually in Tempe, but we started 7 years ago as a licensed dealer of manufactured housing, buying and selling for cash, me and my father, and saw an opportunity in the market to do a fix and flip strategy as an investor. Which is definitely alternative out in the market. And a lot of people put their nose up at manufactured housing because of the negative connotation when we saw an opportunity. So not only did we start implementing a fix and flip strategy, we saw a need in the market of Arizona for a seller carry finance program because not that many people were providing financing on mobile homes. It's a niche market. You go try and ask your bank if they finance manufactured housing, and they're gonna, kick you to the door at the end of the day. So with our lack of velocity at that time, we saw a need for a financing program, but also to gain further transaction base. So as we started doing more transactions through seller carry finance, we stumbled upon the program and the vast door open of opportunity for individuals to gain financing, purchase a home, get qualified home ownership in the market. So as we started doing more transactions, we were burying our money in great assets, performing first lien positions, but we only have so much money to continue to execute out in the market. So had to additionally start selling our notes to other private investors that want a solid, stable, contractually agreed upon return in the local Arizona market. And that has jettisoned our business over the last, say, 5 years to doing about 50 transactions a year, which is a good amount of doors. Considering the scarcity of other available opportunities out in the market. So over the past, say, 5 years, we've done 150 seller carry finance transactions with a licensed mortgage officer, a third-party underwriter. We get them set up with
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Automatic funds transfer services, so third-party contract servicing, and really started to button up the program, all from fix and flip and mobile homes of all things.
Yeah, right. Did your father have, because you mentioned working with your father, was he already working in that asset class, or what made you even choose that asset class? I mean, most people would jump into single family, maybe stuff like that. Was it because they maybe a little less ease or a little more ease of entry to that type of asset class, or what was that driver?
Great question. Yeah, my father, my business partner, and my mentor out in the market, he's done all areas of fix and flip. He flipped 100 homes in El Mirage. He's done development deals. He's sold to hedge funds and things of that nature. That's James Guajardo. But me attending and him teaching at Arizona Real Estate Investors Association brought on a lot of different alternative ideas out in the market. And there was an individual, I forget his name, he's passed away now, God bless the dead, but he was executing as buying homes and selling them to California-based investors who owned mobile home parks. So he'd buy here in Arizona, sell it to a mobile home park institution, and they'd transport the unit, from Arizona to California, where when we were approached with this strategy, we saw a lot of hardship in transportation, and permitting and things of that nature. The local mafioso moving all the trailers is going to have his big fee at the end of the day.
Sure.
So that saw some complications where we saw an adjacence of not only the desirability of our market in Arizona, but also it had a mitigated factor and upfront cost to just leave it there in an established community with city water, city sewer, city trash. The home was already in a great location in a quality park. And no one was so much doing that, buying it there, rehabbing it there, selling it there. And I, couldn't tell you why. I think it was a lot of negative connotation. People were really scared of like the quote unquote lot rent. It's definitely an alternative way of thinking, but if you can acquire it adequately, at a lower acquisition cost, ultimately to factor in your carry with the elevated lot rent, and if you've borrowed money to acquire that home, it really starts to make sense. To buy it there, rehab it there, sell it there for someone that's either looking for affordable housing or, a second home. Arizona's a big snowbird state.
Yeah.
A lot of Canadians are coming in at any given time, and that may fluctuate now with the
tariffs and
the hardship with Canada. But, Arizona is a great market. We've rode the new desirability over the past 7 years with all of the new manufacturers coming into the city, a lot of build to rent, but not a lot of build to own. So it creates this whole economic environment for this kind of strategy and asset class to almost gain now further traction in this local market, Arizona, but also in other markets as well, as we see the quote unquote state of emergency in affordable housing. Now you got politicians sticking their head in, trying to figure out.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors. and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Where's the rub for the average blue-collar working American, who's being priced out of $2,000 a month in rent and priced out of average purchase prices of $460,000 here in the valley of a single family home? I think nationally it's $500,000,
Almost, yeah.
Just to qualify for a $450,000 home, you have to make like $80,000 a year with little to no debt.
Little to no, exactly. Your DTS got to be there.
Where's the rub, and by the time a builder or investor goes in and tries to build a multifamily complex and do a rental strategy, that prices it out because of labor and material costs. Now, we're seeing a true problem here. And I think now that institutions are peeking their head and buying mobile home parks, not just the homes, but the parks themselves, elevating the quality. They're paving the streets, putting in gates. They got school pickup and drop off. It really starts to make a more palatable home ownership program for an end user, where historically it was like Trailer Park Boys, the Netflix series, what a travesty that's painted the asset class. But that's, I think, really where the market is going, not only because of inflation, labor, material, but also, people want to own a house. They really do. Yeah. And they're spending 5 years renting just to try and save up for a down payment for an actual residential property, when they could have bought a manufactured home and built some qualified equity over a 5 to 10 year period and had even more money to put towards a down payment. So that's kind of what we're seeing out in the market, and why this makes so much sense right now. I think it works in other investor-friendly markets as well, like Texas and possibly a Florida market or a New Mexico. But it's hard to kind of talk about other markets when I'm blessed to be sitting here in Arizona.
Yeah, true.
One of the top 10 performing states in the nation. And, Florida just saw huge hurricanes. California just saw huge wildfires, There's little to no natural disaster risk here in the Arizona market. We have our monsoons here and there that'll take someone's awning. Big dust storms. But, that's pretty minor in consideration of regular hurricanes and regular wildfires. That's something to take into account sitting as a capital investor, like, hey, where do I want to put my dollars to make sense and actually earn a mitigated risk and return on investment? Do I want to go buy a $100,000 house in the Midwest where people are moving from? Do I want to go buy, Airbnb in Florida where hurricanes are a regular thing and my insurance just went crazy? Or do I want to buy in California where the average price is $1 million and I can't even get an insurance policy on the house? Where's the program? And I think that's why this fits so much, given the economic environment, given, the new presidency that's come into election. There's a lot of big things that are happening ulteriorly to Arizona being such a newly desirable market. It's kind of stacking the deck here.
Well, your asset class is in the right market too. I mean, it's a mobile manufactured home in a secondary home market, right? In a snowbird type of market, right? They don't need a big property to try to maintain when they're not there for 6 months out of the year.
Absolutely,
they need a nice, easy, maintainable manufactured, and I get it.
There's a lot of transients, Arizona's been a new vacation venture state. I heard people calling Scottsdale, Old Town Scottsdale, the new Vegas. It's not so much that, but, we did get full gaming laws. So Arizona's casinos, you can actually play real craps, real roulette. That brings people to the state. at
I
the
read
end of
that.
the day.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Old Town Scottsdale's going vertical. Tempe, they did stupid construction for State Farm and a few others that went vertical on Tempe Town Lake, and a couple other huge construction, bringing transients, bringing workers, bringing construction jobs. The list goes on. And while other states and other markets are really suffering, because of all kinds of different factors, Arizona's pretty insulated. I don't want to call it a bubble because that's a really bad word. But we're trucking away here in the Arizona market. And, a lot of people think that real estate's going to crash big time and things like that. I don't really so much see that. Why? Because there's millions of Americans that are on 2 to 5% mortgages right now.
Yeah.
And what are they going to do? They're going to become accidental landlords, and they're going to rent out at a cash flow positive for an average rental rate of $2,000 a month. And their competition is new build multifamily units at $2,250 to $2,500. That really insulates the environment on top of all of the other influx of jobs and transients and new desirability in the local market.
How are you going out and finding these properties? Like, what does your lead gen look like? I mean, are you having people bring you properties? I mean, what is that structure?
Yeah, great question. So 7 years ago, me and my father used to just drive parks. I was 23 at the time, driving, looking for sale by owners. Now we've come to build a name and a brand in the local market of Arizona, and a lot of word of mouth, a lot of social media advertising, repeat business, as well as our biggest referral partners, the institutions that own these mobile home parks. We come to find out, a lot of these mobile home parks are institutionally owned, and they own, say, 100 parks across the nation, and they have 15 here in the local market of Arizona, and they're not fix and flippers. Why do I bring that up? Because they take properties back. People go to foreclosure, people get evicted in their parks, and them not being a fix and flipper and not having possibly a lack of sales staff on operating in the resale of personal property manufactured housing, we had come to cultivate relationships with these institutions. So long story short, when they repossess properties, we kind of get first look at any given time to purchase from their portfolios that they've taken back and re-cash flow those properties, not only lifting the value of that house, but also bringing a better, higher quality tenant for the park. As well as, raising the value of the park itself inadvertently, just from the coexistence of our relationship. We're making a smashing profit on the rehab as well as the note that we originate, sell or carry, but also that 1975 home that sat there for 40 years and no one ever rehabbed or anything, now looks like a brand new manufactured home, and opposed to that park who took back the home in their portfolio, having to demo that house, buy a brand new home, transport it, set up a new AC unit, and be out of pocket $150,000, and then mark it up for their sales staff to make a commission. Now we've bought that home. We get some free lot rent here and there from the negotiation of reperforming that asset. But we're almost like a knight in shining armor to them at the end of the day. We come in with our bells and whistles, and reperform an asset and got a higher quality tenant than they would have even procured getting a new home at the end of the day. That seems like a win-win situation.
Seems like a win mobile homes. No, it does seem like a win-win, and that's awesome. How are you buying these? Are you guys using private money? Are you using hard money? I mean, are you doing seller carry, seller finance? What are you doing? Like, how are you
Yeah,
buying
so
them?
we purchase for cash and raise private money in a note investment strategy. So we'll raise on like a construction loan from private money for a 1-year term at a negotiated rate. And ultimately, once we procure that asset, turnkey out on the market, we find a Ginnie Mae. Ginnie Mae qualifies to seller finance. So we seller finance that house
Mm-hmm.
to, say, Ginnie Mae. At that time, the construction loan investor has an opportunity to either get a first right of refusal of the face rate and seller finance note that comes available,
Mm-hmm.
or they can pivot and we go back into another flip. So we do use private money on, say, an annualized program backed by a lien. It's a collateralized loan. We're not pooling funds. So those dollars go direct to that specific asset. And when we procure it, get it turnkey, find a qualified borrower, have them signed off by an LMO, and originate the note. We either sell the note to the original lender and they come out of pocket for the difference of the construction loan and the loan
Mm-hmm.
balance, or we sell that note to Silvercrest Opportunity Fund, where we raise accredited dollars to pool money and hold the note within our portfolio, or sell it to another hedge fund and things of that nature. And those notes go
Got
up for
it.
sale at mobile mailbox money.
Okay, got it. Now let's talk about our topic, our alternative investment strategies. Obviously, we know mobile homes are, well, what are some other alternative strategies and why are they important now?
Yeah, it's extremely important given the financial market and what we've just discussed, with average purchase prices exceeding $450,000 and rental rates at a cash flow negative with your DSCR loan, fluctuating interest rates and cash calls on multifamily plays create challenge at high volatility in the stock market. There's true struggle. If you're sitting here today looking for an investment out in the market,
Mm-hmm.
that's why an alternative strategy is one of the highest things being Googled right now. If you even look up how many times that's being Googled, alternative investment strategy, it's actually quite interesting.
Well,
Well, me sitting here, I'm 30, turned 30 last year. I'm a new individual on the block. I've been in the business 7 years. We've done 300 transactions. What do I look at, out in the market to facilitate an alternative investment strategy? And why does that hold weight? Well, I think a lot of people follow Warren Buffett, right? I
mm-hmm.
think we could
Mm-hmm.
all agree we know who Warren Buffett is. Uh, Warren Buffett owns Clayton and Cavco. They're the two largest manufacturers of mobile homes in the nation. They actually have factories here in Arizona, and we beat that replacement cost with our programs. Also, 21st Mortgage. A lot of people don't know he holds major stake and owns 21st Mortgage. 21st Mortgage is the largest national lender on personal property manufactured housing. So not only is he hedging his bets in building manufactured housing in Arizona, he's also hedging his bets in the long-term paper of the alternative investment strategy,
Yeah.
taking his share of the market. That's a huge market considering there's not all that much competition. Everyone and their mother does residential real estate, multifamily syndications, and things of that nature. Well, you're talking about housing. I forget the percentage nationally, but in Arizona, manufactured housing is actually 10% of housing here in the local market. That's
Mm-hmm.
over 250,000 transactions going on at any given time with financing, insurance, ownership, title work and things of that nature that a lot of people aren't really paying attention to or don't even want to give it the time of day because of the Netflix series Trailer Park
Trailer
Boys.
park. Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, is that not where the pot of gold is? when it's highly overlooked, highly misunderstood, but now the paper that's being originated is a higher return on investment because it's an alternative, and there's hardships in financing, providing bank quality financing for these transactions. Well, that creates a private money situation where we can seller finance at a higher paper interest rate in comparison to a residential transaction. So not only is it still it's a housing unit that someone lives in, right, which creates stability, but also, it's a fully underwritten program with a double-digit interest rate. Those yields are like 14%. I've heard them
It's good.
even higher before, but we're ultimately trying to provide a stable housing solution for somebody, but also a satisfactory return for someone looking for an alternative investment strategy that's finding scarcity out in the market. It's really a true perfect storm, with 250,000 houses here in the local market, a lot of built to rent, but not a lot of built to sell. I think I saw Joe Biden sometime last year talking about FHA financing and things of that nature, but we're eons away from, having that actually come to fruition. And that's why, this makes so much sense for individuals currently looking to place private dollars. Not only can you buy a note, say for $80,000 and make upwards of $800 or more a month in payments, with that same $80,000, if you went to a residential property, you'd probably cash flow negative, right? Your net operating income nationally is on average about 5%. And with management fees, maintenance, insurance, and taxes, by that time that all boils down to, you're really banking on appreciation. And national appreciation on average is like 5%. They're like 5 and 5 on NOI and national appreciation.
Yeah.
You're aiming to make 10. Well, we just saw huge appreciation over the past 5 years. Is that really going to hit again? It may hit another average benchmark, but at some point there's got to be some form of either plateau or correction.
Ceiling somewhere.
Yeah, listen, the stocks don't just go up, people, at the end of the day. You got to be knowledgeable about what's going on nationally and where, you want to place your bet. Am I telling someone to take all of their money and invest all of their dollars into notes? I'm not saying that by any means, but the diversification play and availability to, say, take $500,000 and diversify that across multiple doors, opposed to paying cash for one house, or leveraging that and buying 2 or 3, with some potential, reserves. You can buy, that same dollar amount can diversify across double the amount of doors and make a stated and contractually agreed upon return that's higher than what you would have received to begin with in the other strategy. So I think that this really fits within someone's portfolio, say 25% or whatever you want to roll around with. Ultimately to diversify, because there's really people looking to diversify their capital right now. They're looking at crazy volatility in the stock market. They're trying to, conventional residential real estate, buy and hold individuals are finding challenge. They may be becoming a tired landlord, out in these programs. This really fits, and that's my soapbox.
Well, it's some great information, and it's true. It's like I think that a lot of people overlook that the mobile home manufacturing because of that stigma that we've always had about it. But I know plenty of folks that are crushing it in it. If folks want to get a hold of you, talk a little bit more about mobile homes, maybe notes or whatnot, how do they reach out to you?
Yeah, so winmobilehomes.com is the dealer of manufactured housing. So if someone were looking to buy, say, a second home or anything like that here in the local market of Arizona, mobilemailboxmoney.com, you can buy a note Say you raise private money and you leverage first lien positions and you're a note investor. You can buy a note at mobilemailboxmoney.com. If you find yourself blessed to be an accredited investor at silvercrestopportunityfund.com, we're currently offering a 10% net return for a 1-year term paid monthly, or 12% net for a 3-year term paid quarterly, and that's a 506c registered offering. Currently not exclusive, but happy to have this opportunity available for the Investor Fuel people watching here today. And if someone wants to call and talk to us direct, that's at 602-888-CASH. Those phones are online and open at any given time. And to believe it or not, we actually answer our phones.
Nice. Right. A lot of people don't. Alden, man, thank you. You shared a lot of great information. I mean, guys, I hope you guys took a lot of good notes, man, because the dude just dropped a lot of good nuggets. Alden, thank you again. And guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
I am. Cool.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.